Well, good afternoon, everybody. It is August 21st, 2021, and it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday, and this will be pretty much the last build video for this KLX, which is now a 365. I think I've done 5 videos previous over the last couple years. So as you know, when I purchased this thing, it was clapped out and completely wore out, but I bought it because for $2,000, I got a street legal Enduro that I knew if it had good bones, I could build it into something really fun. Ultimately, like I mentioned in the past, what I'd love to have a modern fuel injected, modern suspended bike like a KTM 500 for off-roading and for street use, as I can ride from my house to work with a little bit of street, mostly dirt. I can ride all over this high desert, mostly on the dirt with a little bit of street and pretty much go anywhere. Yeah, I'd love to have that, but I don't want to spend $10,000 on a hobby that I don't do that much anymore, but I still like to have the option of doing it. So over these last 3 years, you've seen that I've gone on a bunch of rides with my brother in Pahrump. We've done some rides here. I rode it to work a few times. I've had a lot of fun with it, and in between those times, mostly in the summer when I don't ride, I've had the bike worked on. Stuff that I can't do, like the suspension and the motor, I've had those all done. But I have not ridden it for about 6 months, and the reason is it's been sitting on the stand right here is, as you know, I scavenged some hubs off of eBay, which were for a KX125, but happened to mate up with this KLX with a couple differences. The rotor and the sprocket bolts are a little different. But other than that, they bolt right up, they fit right in, and I sent those off to WUSA to have them build me these killer wheels with the green hubs, the black spokes, the black hoops, and then the red little spoke nipples on there, because I just wanted to make this bike look as new as possible, even though it's 20-something years old now. I think 25 years old now, 24 years old, 96, so whatever that is. So it's been sitting there for 6 months because I waited for those wheels, I got the wheels back, and then I avoided mounting up those tires for months because it's hot out here. It's hot in my garage. And I was more interested in whether or not it was going to start after sitting for 6 months, because in California, our gas is full of garbage. And if you let your bike sit for too long in a hot garage like this, it won't start the next time you go to fire it up, because all the ports and the pilot jet will be clogged with some gum, and you have to take the whole carb apart. So I've been worried that it's been off sitting there for 6 months. So I pulled it out of the garage and putted it around my house. All right, I gotta say I'm a little bit excited because when I lived in Big Bear in Orange County, you could leave your dirt bike in your garage for a year and the thing would fire right up. But when I moved to the high desert, let me get out of the wind here. When I moved to the high desert, if you leave your dirt bike, quad, whatever, that's not fuel injected in the garage for like a month in the summer, the carburetor clogs up, and then you got to tear the whole thing apart, spray out all those little side ports on the pilot jet, take some compressed air, spray out the main and all the other jets, put the thing back together. It's just a pain in the butt, right? You're always taking that thing apart, and on a really old bike like this, you don't want to be taking stuff apart all the time because stuff strips, it gets worn, and this stuff isn't readily available like a new bike. So this thing's been sitting, I think, 5 months in my garage, and it fired up. So I did do one thing different. I ran pure race gas. I ran Sunoco 110 or whatever that is. Let me see if this might be it right here. That's what I ran. So what I'm guessing is whatever dried up in the carb didn't leave any residue plugging anything up. And the reason why I just wrote it is because I wanted to test the clearance between the chain and the tire, because it's really close and it seems fine. So now I'm gonna put the other tire together. We're getting close. All right, the stock size on a KLX365 is a 100 by 100 by 18. I went to a 110 by 100 by 18, which is a tiny bit bigger. And Randy from Michelin told me you want to go to a 140 by 80 by 18. And my concern was, if you look at this picture, this tire is over an inch taller. Now I do want to gear it taller because it has more power. And with the 307 engine, it would only top out at about 55, and I was kind of ringing it. Like, man, I don't want to be up on these revs very long. So I did want to gear it taller. So that's going to actually help me because I stayed with a 48 sprocket. So that taller tire is going to gear it taller, giving me maybe 5 more miles an hour on top. I can run it at 50, 55 and not be ringing the thing to death. And the tire fits with plenty of room. Even if I slide the axle all the way forward, it still fits. So that's what I was a little concerned about. I was ready to put this thing back together today, but guess what I don't have? I don't have rim locks. So I ordered rim locks for Monday. Today's Saturday, and it's the 24th of July. And man, I was excited to get this thing done today, but looks like we're gonna wait till next week. So that's as far as we got. I just wanted to see how that looked on there, and it looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
We've seen it on display in a wide range of TV shows, movies, and even social media. The most recent example is a new Amazon Prime called Everybody's Talking About Jane. The story.
All right, so I've been working on this thing for some time now. I pinched the first tube, had to order another tube, got that done today. And then while I was putting this thing together, if you look right at these Allen bolts, see how there is still a gap around here where they're supposed to seat in? Well, here's the original hub, okay? And here's the bolts without any gap. Now, when I ordered these bolts to put in the new hub, they were too big. So I ordered this rotor for a 96 KLX365, but the factory bolts, those ones are too big for this hub. They're thicker. The thread shaft is thicker, and they don't even thread in. So I use these smaller ones, but now the problem with the rotor is that it doesn't seat perfectly. So this is the same part number. This hub is the same part number as that hub over there. But when I did a search for a KX500, it showed this bolt here, which is the same as these. This bolt here does fit the way it's supposed to. See that? So I'm going to use this KX500 disc on this hub with the right bolts, and hopefully it all works. So we'll see.
We knew it was going to be Josh, or at least I did. There would be Josh